Welcome everybody. We are here today talking to Mr. Ulric Roberts, who is WHAGs 2025 resident artist. And it's very interesting that the residency is in its third sort of installment, after having the first resident artist being Professor Zakes, and last year the second one was Jonathan van der Walt. And yeah, we are happy that you are the recipient this year, and thank you so much for accepting the offer, and also for putting together a very interesting application that made you to become the recipient. We had an incredible number of applications this year, slight increase in the application percentage compared to the last year one, and yeah, so welcome to WHAG.
Thank you, Chepape.
3 weeks later, I'm welcoming you
again.
again. So I just want us to just start from the beginning. Can you just take us through who is Ulric, who is Namasan? In this case, you can talk about Namasan because it's a name that you gave yourself for the sole purpose of being in the arts, and also sort of reconnecting with your forebears. So who is Namasan, and where do you come from, for those who don't know?
I would start off saying to Bobby, the name Namasan chose me.
Great.
Yeah. I was born in Immaculate, come from a small mining community and farming community in Concordia. Many people don't know where it is, but it's near Springbok.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I grew up in Cape Town in a mixed race colored neighborhood called Macassar. So I had these two worlds where I realized myself, as I grew up. So I've been up and down the N7, sort of migrating up and down. So matriculated in Macassar High School, Zandvliet. And my interest in the arts started very young. I think I had a very supportive dad and mom that saw my talent. And way back in Macassar, there was no art classes, there was nothing to support your creativity. So we had a teacher, Mr. Hendricks, he would give us little art exercises, and there was this communal school awards called Maruk.
Okay.
And some of my art got in there. I was 13, 14 years old, and so my dad thought maybe it should be developed. So in Somerset West, there was this community art center, which I attended then from 14 until matric. And I was exposed to real art, and I was young, so my peers were 20s and in the 40s. I was a kid. I advanced very fast into advanced drawing and painting, and had my first merit exhibition in oil paint at the age of 16. So I was sort of thrown into the deep end very young, into understanding the quality of textures, and I fell in love with oil paint. And so I grew, and I went and studied graphic designing. Then it was known as Cape Technical, now CPUT. And but living in Macassar was sort of my schooling, but home was Immaculate. So my mom and dad, every school holiday, I would spend literally on the N7 and in Immaculate. And then Immaculate was still rural, very little electricity. Concordia had no electricity. So my grandparents, we still call Concordia sort of a farm. Some of my family members and peers in the community also, we call Concordia Dorpie Stad. You know, it's small, but for us, it's like a cosmopolitan space. Because a lot of people of Namaqualand have this huge, diverse genetic background. People that came to work on the mines from all over the world. And as Nama people as well, got integrated, it mixed with the rest of the world. And for me, growing up in these two worlds, Cape Town, it was fully electrified and sort of civil systems running. And
metropolitan.
Yes, and coming to Namakula and Concordia, from dust, the rural dirt roads. But my first real memories was playing in the sand and falling on what we would call the klipbanke, granite boulders that was sort of. And if you fall on a klipbank, it's something that you remember. It's different from falling on tar.
Yeah.
It's different from falling on grass or on sand.
Yeah.
And there's where I meet Namakwaland as myself. So as I developed as an young inspiring artist, I was introduced when I was studying Technikon, various different cultural expressions, music, and I started to play the didgeridoo, Aboriginal instrument from Australia, and very difficult instrument, very foreign, very foreign instrument. But somehow I got it to get going quickly, and it became part of me. And I was Technikon, my fellow students called me didgeridoo because I went in my
playing
all over and the drain, the drone, the sound of it will always fill the space. But strangely, the whole idea of identity came to me as a big question in my life. And after my studies, I hitchhiked twice up to the N7, to Namaqualand. Just as an experience, 600 kilometers, being bold and brave. I would hitchhike, and in those transit moments, walking the N7 to a great extent and waiting for a lift, Namaqualand came as a soft voice, and Namasan grew in that moment. So my first real residency, I would call that, was me moving back as a professional artist to Concordia, and I stayed and lived there for about a year. I created a body of work that was called Namaqualand, and Namasan then became Namasan.
You touched on playing, jumping over or stepping into the boulders and all that. I'm very curious if those boulders had the rock paintings, or was just boulders without that kind of expression.
Namaqualand is a vast area, and we're also known as the granite belt. And because of the rock quality, you don't find a lot of rock paintings there. Okay, because the granite almost exfoliates over time. It breaks off. So our indigenous didn't make that kind of mark on the rocks. What is very powerful memory of the ancient world is the petroglyphs. The petroglyphs are rock etchings, and they sit on the Orange River, and also great part of the Northern Cape. There's petroglyphs, and it's very dynamic mark making. It's different from rock painting. And some of the learned people says it predates us as human beings making mark. And this marks has laid a great impression on me later on, where I realized that the influences that I thought came from my Aboriginal exposure to playing didgeridoo, the pointillism, and that it sort of originated through me playing the didgeridoo. But I found the point on a rock in Namaqualand as a petroglyph, and that sort of reinforced that the Nama culture had always had this expression form.
What made you to apply, and can you describe your application process and the concept behind your project for the convenience of listeners who are not privy to that?
Yes, the journey for me as an artist has been a very interesting awareness of how people interact with art. And when I was a little bit younger, I think sort of in my Cape Town phase, when I was doing my exploratory process at DC Art Gallery, and where I had my first solo, I also applied for residencies there in the Cape and 1 or 2 overseas residencies. And I never could ace it. I never got the opportunity. So I sort of put it on the back burner and not really focus much on residency. So I grew and developed as an artist, and when the call came out for the WHAG residency, it was just after this exhibition we opened at the AVA. And I thought maybe this could be, for me, just another exercise and see if I can get it right.
And you got it right.
And I got it right. And it was powerful, because the moment that the idea was what I'm going to present, I was busy preparing for this walk that I've been doing for 4 years now, since the passing of my dad during the COVID time period. And so to remember him, he was a very strong man, strong athlete, strong-minded man, very honest principles of life. And for me, it was very significant because he passed on my birthday, on the 28th of February. And it is something very dramatic for anyone to lose somebody you love, and to be there at that moment as well. And for me, it was like, how do I remember him? How I'm going to get through this trauma process, because it's on my birthday. Every year on my birthday, I will have the knowledge and the experience of my dad passing. And I thought, I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk and run and find a way to reflect. And so I've been doing the challenge. I call it the Taiki challenge. The Taiki is also his nickname. When he was Taiki. That means relatively being tough. Afrikaans, Tai, being being tough. So I was in the preparation of getting ready for my February walk, which I do every year now since his passing. And then the WHAG opportunity came, and I was also throwing a lot of things around that I'm also processing in the times we live in, technology and the conflict that we're having in the North, in the Middle East. So as an artist, we feel, we in tune with our times, and the relationship that I've had with my dad as my best friend, we walked together a lot. We exercised a lot together. So walking became immediately the sort of idea that maybe as human beings in this terrible time, challenging time, that we have to find mechanisms to walk together. And so the concept started there, and I was thinking about memory, communication, the sheer sense of advancing as a human species as well. And we started off as walking as part of migrating, learning, meeting other people. So walk is a key element of our human existence, to walk. But then the other questions also about to walk into new spaces, to walk out of problems and out of difficulty, and also I've got a dear friend that lost a great part of his ability to walk. So he's got one leg and he's in a wheelchair. So all these kind of things about how do we as able-bodied don't think about walking as really something special and something original, as
something you don't buy somewhere.
Yes.
You can,
yes, and walking to become healthier, so that was sort of my base where I started the proposal.
And I think what was interesting about what impressed the panel about your proposal was this idea of walk and how you going to use it not only as a way of paying tribute to your father, but also reconciling with the fact that he's no more, but he has taught you so many things, and he's still present in your life as you walk the ground. You know, you connect with the ancestors. I think that conceptually was very, very, very strong. And going back to the idea of the residency, how does this space, this residency space, inspire or actually influence your current work?
So I've must have set myself on a journey as an artist, and I've grappled with community issues, and just try to reflect what I experienced, specifically in Immaculate. And so Concordia is technically 800 kilometers plus, give and take, from Kimberley. So Kimberley, as our big city, our mother city, is so far from us. And being here also is the first time for me being in a very extensive period, living in Kimberley. I've been here for the Writers' Festival and a few other departmental projects and stuff, but that would be 2 weeks on maximum. So living in Kimberley, in the residency, in the space, is quite a profound experience for me, because William Humphreys Museum and Art Gallery is one of the old art establishments in the country. And that WHAG is also two of my art pieces in the permanent collection. It makes it's home. It feels home. I'm here. And even to work here and with your team, the concept of walk has been also for me an eye opener in how I can use my art to communicate and to work. Some of the issues that I'm dealing with is not so personal. All of us have similar issues. So it was nice experiencing your team and to work with them, and to take my current process of creating art and sort of push it into a very short time period, and that was quite a challenge. So the challenge, the growth that I've experienced is how I can maximize and optimize my creative time. You know, we all just have a limited lifetime, and what are we here to do, and what can we leave behind as record or elements of beauty. So being here, I've been challenged to work with everything I currently know as an artist, and also to infuse a little bit of new things. So I'm bringing some of my old stuff back, like charcoal, putting the charcoal over sort of the layers that I'm now sort of known out there, how I sort of layer my work and scrape and present the final art piece out there. So to look beyond the obvious is one of my statements, that I do art that I need to live with it, but also my audience needs to live with it. And some of my topics are quite tough topics to sit with. I think back when I was in Cape Town, DC Art, I did a reflection on the return of Sarah Baartman. I was young in that moment, knowing how culturally energetic that moment was for us to receive Sarah back. So I made this painting, and one of my then first sort of collectors saw this painting. Said, "Oh, what an ugly work it was!" But it was so strong and powerful. I still have the art piece. You know, it never sold, but it was such a, for that moment, very sort of out there, gruesome. Real in the face of society.
Do you sometimes think of revisiting the piece and doing something, or elongating the concept of receiving Sarah Baartman back? And I suppose in this case it would be more nuanced with the maturity as you matured over the years from the point at which you have done that piece.
Sarah has been a great part of my liberating female work that I've done. Celebrating the mother Africa, the Nama mother, the Nama woman, and that speaks very strong in a great part of my work that I've done over years, that the female element I've used very strongly, and I think the painting of Sarah sparked it, and that's why it's still sort of part of me. It's in my space constantly, you know. The sort of so-called ugly painting.
But it's interesting that you still have the painting. And I don't know if you are one of those artists, because I also believe that the work of art is not complete until it has left your house. Meaning that you can always revisit it and recreate it or add onto it. Do you foresee that the possibility of additions to it in its state, or you
well, you're opening up another question there on the current issue of mixed race people in identity, that I also personally have a lot of challenges with, like the framing of people or labeling of people, saying mixed race people are Khoisan people. I sort of have a different take on it. I feel we are Khoi, we are first people. And coming from Namaqualand and Nama people being a almost a forgotten tribe, and still not in South Africa being recognized as an official language and a cultural identity that is very, very old and very strong southern root of Africa. So I might revisit the Sarah Baartman piece. I have this new name that I'm working with the Nama woman. It's called Sophie.
Oh, Sophia.
So Sophie for me now is the Sarah of the past. And I use Sophie because of what I've experienced, how the Nama woman as a matriarchal system has always been a very powerful entity. I was raised by a woman, you know. I was raised by my aunt. My mom has got 7 sisters. And so I had the pleasure and the privilege to also know my grandma from my mom's side. So the female element of Namaqualand has played a very strong role in my relooking at my culture, of my eclectic culture, and the space that we currently inherit, and the threats that we have been experienced since the beginning of colonialism, and how the Nama people have changed over time. Myself, my own worldly identity, you know, some of my family from all over the world. My grandfather used to remember his grandma as being a slave from the East, and also known as the Swart van Wyks, you know, the Black van Wyks. And we in the Makgato have all this Dutch or German surnames, influence. But remembering that you also have this slave history. And we know within that story there's a lot of loss of memory and pain and regret and also servitude and being a young voter. I voted 94, voted for change, voted for the new country, and living it still. You know, I think we're the generation still living the idea of the Rainbow Nation, that we try to cement systems in ourselves and our families to come out of the oppressive time period that most people in South Africa live. So yeah, Sophie is still being oppressed. She's still suffering. She's still being not recognized. She's still not being honored as a powerful matriarch in Africa. So my Sarah is now Sophie.
So the transition of Sarah Batman, or Sarah as a name, into Sophie, I just want to understand, did you choose the name Sophie randomly, or it symbolizes a matriarch from way back in your lineage? And I'm asking this because when I look at Sophie, the piece, I cannot stop thinking about Sophie Peters, who is an artist. The way you depicted Sophie in that piece, I looked at it and I thought, could this be Sophie Peters? Or I see Sophie Peters, especially as our contemporary art matriarch, whom I think we still have to really give her the recognition that she deserves. So when I looked at it, I thought Sophie, it just ran in short of Peters, Sophie Peters as a title. So can you elaborate on the choice of the name?
You know, Chepape, it's the art world. It's actually very small.
Yeah.
We cross lines because the art chooses us.
Yeah.
You know, and I had the privilege and the honor to work with Sophie Peters. Yes, I was still a youngster. We did a mural together. In the Ketberg, up on the mountain, a small community there, farming community that we worked there. And I never thought of Sophie after this sort of conversation we've had now over this residence, because you're also working with Sophie, and I haven't seen her in
a long time,
20 years maybe. And but choosing the name Sophie was not random. There was actually this lady in Kleinsie during the diamond rush. Now this is part of the story that I've been telling with the previous exhibition, Destruction and Resilience in Immaculate.
And what year are we talking about? The 1800s?
No. We're talking now. We're talking the land issue in Immaculate now. After the Beers have sort of privatized Kleinsie and that whole West Coast has sort of had the opportunity for the BE component to get into the diamond industry. But what I've witnessed and in my community up front is that we, and especially the woman, has suffered a great deal in this time period, trying to get out of poverty. And I did a painting called Digging into Poverty. And this painting, I was there in Kleinsie. It was almost being in Kimberley 150 years ago. There was, at a given moment, like 3,000 to 4,000 people digging for diamonds on the surface, close to the town of Kleinsie. And it was illegal, but it was just so huge. The people all over just went there to find their piece of wealth. And there was this lady that I took a picture of, sort of in the distance. and she was there grinding away. Old Nama auntie, grinding away at the gravel, looking for the diamond. And after I completed the painting, digging into poverty, some of the work was seen by the management of De Beers, and the one guy said, "But this auntie is Sophie, and when she doesn't grind or dig away for diamonds, she makes Nama roosterbrood to sell."
Oh.
And that made me to realize about the economy that in the Nama woman is sitting as a culture and a value system that is sort of contradicting to what she's doing there, grinding away in the dirt, finding the diamond.
Yeah.
So I made this painting. The first Sophie painting was a small painting, where she's sitting with a big 5-point hammer and crushing away, and her identity is sort of just blurred in strokes. You know, she could be anyone.
Okay.
And then with the development of the destruction resistant and the Makuland exhibition, Sophie just came out again.
Okay.
Sophie just became this icon and this matriarch that needs to be celebrated and remembered. What is Nama women going through now in the contemporary South Africa with mining and loss of identity, loss of land? What is the issue for Sophie now?
Have you sat down with Sophie and hear side of her story, or you have looked at her from the outsider point of view? And just want to know.
Okay, so Sophie by definition is also a concept, but there's a real Sophie.
Yeah.
And all the women in my community in Concordia and the extended Namakland, they're all Sophies. So yes, the personality that's in the painting, I haven't had a personal conversation, but I've had conversations with the other Sophies. And the issues, like in Concordia currently, our land issue are championed by two Sophies, by a very powerful woman. And within the Nama culture and the history as sort of the colonial documentation, there was no kings and queens. There was matriarchal systems. So almost by default, all the women were queens. So they would run their own kraal, they would run their families. The men had specific jobs or duties that as men, sort of pre-colonial, as hunters and as herdsmen, where the Nama woman had a very strong hold on the kraal. And this is documented very well in a document called, I think, the social study of the Nama people. Might be wrong with the title. Winifred Hernley. She journeyed in the 1800s, late 1800s, to Kubus.
Okay.
Now Kubus is still a Nama community in South Africa that speaks the Nama language, and it's in the Richtersveld. It's close to the border to Namibia, and there the matriarchal system is very strong. Like the knowledge of the hut, how to make the reed mats. It all sits within
that community.
In the mother, not just that community. There's a lot of communities in the matriarchs, but in the matriarchs, yes. Yeah. So me telling the story of Sophie is also telling this queenly story. Like all these Nama women over time had played a very strong role in South Africa's history, but they're not remembered. So I think it's a time for us, and also as men, to recognize the power of our mothers, recognize the power of the female entities in our community, that is now queens and paving the way for generations to come to stand up for land rights, stand up for the common right as African people, common law and indigenous law and that sort of thing, to be a very strong voice. Then if we look back into colonial history of women, specifically of the Khoi, that stood very strongly out, we have Curator, and you have Petronella, and then there's Sarah Bartman, that represents certain time issues and struggles that women of Khoi and Khoi descent has been faced, and now the Nama women facing almost a continuous onslaught onto the culture, to not vanish, to stand for land and stand for language. So I celebrate it, and I'm working, me and my partner, we're working currently on a documentary issue known as The Dochter van Eva, the daughter of Eve. Oh. And it's also reflecting the Sophia.
Okay. Yeah. What has been the most significant challenge that really opened you up for more creativity in terms of producing works for this particular exhibition?
Being here in this short time period has, look, I developed the concept, obviously the proposal, but to get all that I think I can and feel I can put out into a short period of time had to be very well managed intellectually for me. To see the work in its finishing process, I trust the process. And it's scary. It's quite scary. It's this idea of I'm writing this exam, but I don't know the paper that I'm writing on. So, I trust that the body will speak for itself, and that the subtextures that I've worked in the body, that it can be the right word, I think, is examined. Because I'm putting a lot of questions out there about the times we're living in and about the idea of walking. And so my process of getting everything done simultaneously. So this is the challenge that I've had, because at home at my studio I have a lot of viewing time. I would work specifically on one piece extensively. Some pieces have taken maybe 6 months even to complete. So I have a lot of viewing time and seeing what is the art actually telling me. Yeah, I don't have that pleasure.
You don't have that pleasure, yeah.
I don't have. So in my...
And we are not sorry for that.
No. It allowed me to have more trust in the process. Of that the art will speak
and direct.
And so I'm also anxious to see the final product. I think about a week ago you sort of gave me a big scan saying, when can we have the poster ready? You know, and I thought, Chepape, you know, the final work is everything done at the same time. So currently the whole production, the whole studio is bits and pieces of shoes lying around and walking sticks and the paintings.
You know what has been interesting is how you have allowed your residency project to be interactive. By that I mean you had our team taking turns in walking or interacting with your creative process. Are you very much keen in collaboration, or it was some collaborating with other artists, or this project has sort of opened that window into that possibility?
I've recently been very much open for collaborations. The body of work that was exhibited at AVOA was a collaborative body of work. And coming into the residency, into the space, I felt it's important for us as mature artists to be able to relate to the younger artists of our time.
Yeah.
And I think when I got here, Rocky's exhibition was still on. And me and Rocky go also back as Northern Cape artists many years that we were part of Soul of Africa exhibition. So I've known him and his work for many years, and part of when we were here, we had this opportunity to talk to some of the interns, and it was quite apparent from his way of thinking and my way of thinking that we need to not just empower but hand something over to the next generation of where we come from. When my first exhibition was at DC Art Gallery in Cape Town, I met of our ancients. I had the opportunity to meet Peter Clark. I worked with James Matthews, and my mentor is Conrad Tace. He's still amongst us.
Yeah.
And I was given a lot from them, and they were struggle artists. Some of their work are in great collections all over the world and in South Africa. And to have been handed some of the old world of what they've went through and where their thinking was, greatly inspired me, greatly carried me as a young artist. And I think it's my obligation and my purpose is to hand also over in the time that we have to say the younger guys in the times that they've got new issues. We fought apartheid. We were sort of the last guys that saw the end of apartheid and going into a new world where they are born in the new world.
What impact do you think this residency will have on your career now and in the future?
I can envision that the residency opens more opportunities for me and to expand my knowledge of the art world and working collaboratively with artists. I think that is my new journey, and I think this is what the residency is also. That I hope that the residency can be for me. Obviously, within the media world, it's good that it's another feather in your cap. You being written about, and there's a more public engagement in me as an artist.
Yeah.
And it's a very fine line between when you what is private these days. Very little things are private, and I've been as a young artist interviewed for many years. I've been in a few articles, and it sort of infringes on your idea of what is yours, your private space, and how you create also intimately first for yourself and then for the world. And as you grow, and specifically with modern media and social media, you also have to understand that the world are built on images. Everyone are scrolling and looking at images, and the gallery experience is always almost like changing, from where people came into a gallery to view out, and that would be the only place, or in somebody's home where there's a beautiful art piece.
What has been the most surprising and unexpected experience so far in this residency?
The friendliness of the Kimberlites, of people in Kimberley is also, I think the Northern Cape has this energy. We welcome people, and most of the shops that I've gone in here, people actually ask me, "How are you?" So it's
it's a strange thing.
It's a strange thing, and I think living in a cosmopolitan space and time, people become dead for one another because you just numbers, you just move past, and this was quite for me, coming from a small community where sometimes people are also cut off from one another. That I've found surprisingly that in Kimberley there's this openness, friendliness. Quite difficult the traffic that I've negotiated. It's a strange sort of peak hour traffic that you find in the cities.
Yeah.
And even in Springbok we also have sometimes a peak hour,
yeah.
end of the month.
Yeah.
So yeah, the friendliness was a surprise for me to have it like in my face all the time.
You have talked about the community engagement. Our team that you have interacted with while you were in the creative process. Is there any integration in how you interacted with them into your practice?
This body of work, definitely there's a lot of energy, just put in a bubble as energy, that I've received from them, and openness and sharing, and that is going to be part of this exhibition. The big piece, I invited them to share a little bit emotion, and I think for them it was also maybe a first time to be questioned and challenged to be part of an art piece, to make the mark actually, and I think that is in the body, is in the work, their marks, their emotions is there, and then one of the installation pieces is also about that interaction. So I'm keeping that sort of still in the head, in my sleeve. How the conceptual pieces in the space will hopefully trigger the question that I've been able to ask here and also receive from you, the team on the ground here, to interact with them.
And what role do you think artist residencies like this at WHAG play in fostering connections with, or connections between artists and local communities?
I think it's important that it should be more a social practice. It's part of one of my bucket listings at my studio, that in Concordia I want to create a residency for artists all over Northern Cape, South Africa and the rest of the world, to be able to interact with communities, because in the Northern Cape some of our communities are quite isolated, and tourism is a great form of income and also interaction with the rest of the world, and I think communities needs to gear for that future also, and this kind of interaction between communities and residencies are important also to grow the idea of the network and the economy that lies within the art world, and how this interaction can spark experiences for communities, and to give them tools to express, because to the point for me, my art is to express myself and to reflect my inner grapplings with my time, and with my community that I'm part of, my South Africa and my global village. And this kind of residencies and interaction is, I think, vital for that. It's sort of, I won't necessarily say healing process, but the process of communicating, process of sharing. But through this communicating and sharing, that you have healing systems, people thinking about their own lives and other people's lives, and acknowledging it. And by acknowledging it, I think something changes within every human being. And call that a healing, call that the acknowledgement of pain or acknowledgement of somebody else's suffering. Okay. I think this is good.
Will this project, after completion, evolve in a new direction? And also, do you see it as part of a larger body of work beyond WHAG?
I think the body that I'm will present at this exhibition opening is, like I said, it also was inspired by something that I've been doing before. And yes, it has opened ideas of what I'm currently also busy with the body that I'm preparing at home. It will, I feel, and it can be a what is the right word I'm looking for? A paved, a little bit better paved road for that body to then
find expression.
Going to Kakanka is also a huge moment to exhibit a part of the festival. It's also a huge moment for my career, and also to collaborate and to meet artists of South Africa in that space. I think that for me is a great moment.
Okay.
And
do you have any advice for other artists who are considering to apply for maybe 2026 WHAGs Artist in Residency?
I think for mature artists or artists that has walked a journey in themselves, in their lives, and also that they have been collected in South Africa and abroad, I think it's a great moment to also come out of your bubble or cocoon, to come into a public space like a residency, where you're sort of also forced to look differently at your practice. I think that I would champion and say more mature artists or established artists should go to residencies. And then on the other hand, for younger artists, I think definitely the academic element, it gives them more opportunity through the academic exposure to go into residencies and then to open a market. Where for me it worked differently. I first sort of opened the market before I went into a residency. Although I attempted many years ago as a young artist to get into residency, I think now for me it makes more sense to even to apply or to partake in other residencies. The advice that I would give to younger artists and creators, and this is some of the shortcomings that I've seen in my community. Creativity, and maybe I should be excused for this, creativity by itself for me doesn't make you an artist. Being an artist is to live the process, is to make a living out of it also. And it's a very tough world. It's a very difficult world, especially if you're self-taught, especially if you're grassroots and you don't have the opportunity to go and further your studies. I would still say for younger artists, find ways to educate yourself, to get some form of education in the art world and recognition within that education sphere. Because it's very difficult. It's very difficult without a degree. It's very difficult with a degree. But the degree, I think, just allows you so much more opportunities. And I think you yourself, as academic artists, would cement it, the opportunities that lies beyond your degree. So that would be my advice for the youngest upcoming artists and creatives to further studies. And yes, we are businesses. Art is a business, and you have to acknowledge yourself also as a business. But it should not be purely about making money.
Okay. Now that we are winding to an end, or we are winding to conclusion of your residency here at WHAG, what do you expect the conclusion and the final product to be? And what the audience who've been watching you throughout the weeks, what can they expect from the kitchen that you have been cooking for this long?
Sure. For me, I hope and believe that everything will be dry and will be at least nicely presented. That we have both of us, you as curator and me as artist, are satisfied with how the plate looks. How the audience will digest some of the work. I always say, people get out of my art what they bring to my art, and my questions that I put out there through the concept of walking, hopefully will do something for them. Not a bad taste in their mouth, but that they will experience maybe something of like we say, a culinary moment of my presentation as an artist, to say that we able-bodied people, that the function of our legs and walking are taking it for granted, or that somebody could reflect or find a moment in the communicative element of walking. And I think if they find themselves in my art, I have succeeded. And I think my expectation for the opening evening, that there will be a lot of Kimberlites coming, a lot of people from Kimberley, and that they experience me in this 6 weeks and take something home, you know, and also maybe have a change in their life through taking up maybe to walk more with feeling, to get out of the blue light vehicles and walk amongst us, and maybe to think about walking as to remember where we come from as South Africa.
Okay. Interesting. And this is a pattern shot. You having spent this long here for the first time because of the opportunity of being a recipient of William Avery's Art Gallery's 2025 Artist-in-Residence. What can you tell people watching this, your experience of the museum in its entirety? What do you have to say about it?
I love the moment. I love being in the presence of Africa art. The sense of history of the place is also, I think, very important. Kimberley, it has been, I haven't seen much of Kimberley. I don't actually know how big it is. So I haven't had time to explore the space beyond the gallery, and so I think the gallery itself, to see the artwork here and to be every day in it is very forthcoming in my approach of, I'm here as an artist of the Northern Cape. I'm celebrated through this residence, and I'm also celebrating my culture, myself in my province. And I was reflecting to your colleagues earlier, that the question of why am I doing art in Concordia? Why am I in my desolated, dusty town in the middle of nowhere? And it is to be that symbol that art is important, that art for the next generation should be seen as an opportunity to grow and to persist them as creatives. And that's why I love being here and to put up my solo in the Northern Cape, my first solo in the Northern Cape at the William Humphreys. That is very special. So I think, yeah, if we can,
cool.
if we can wrap that up.
Yeah, for me, I think it's a great honor that I'm going to curate your show. And I know as an artist what it means to have a first museum exhibition. First museum exhibition in a certain location is very crucial, because to me what it has meant when I have my first museum exhibition outside South Africa, it meant that finally my work is being recognized at the highest echelons of heritage institution. And having interacted with the hosts of my exhibition last year, it was incredible to see and hear how my works impacted them, especially that it was in a foreign land, and I was exhibiting something outside their everyday experiences. So, and I'm bringing that energy with me into curation of your work with a very measured care, in understanding that this is your significant exhibition in your province, that is Northern Cape, and a significant exhibition in one of 3 national museums. So it's the greatest honor that I have the privilege to work with you and walk with you as we are nearing the completion of your residency. And I wish you nothing but the best for this conclusion of the project, and beyond this residency, may it also inspire you charting forward in your artistic endeavors. And I trust that an artist who's watching this and stays here in Northern Cape, or stays somewhere in Northwest, the rural Northwest, the rural KZN, the rural Limpopo, rural Free State, can look at these conversations and this exhibition in particular and realize that impossible is nothing. If you from Concordia made it to one of the national museums and exhibit your work, it means that they should continue building on their artistic journeys that will one day culminate into this big moment, because I also regard this as a big moment for you. So yeah.
Now I thank you, Chepape, for you and your team, and to have chosen my concept, and it's a great privilege to be here. And I believe that the audience will enjoy what I've cooked up, and it's also, again, to be a Northern Cape artist and be in your province, and like you just said, be part of in one of 3 national spaces. It is a great opportunity and a great privilege for my art career, and I thank you.
Congratulations, and well done to you and to all those mentors, all those artists whom you've traveled this journey with, because I don't think this achievement is only and solely your achievement, but it's an acknowledgement of all those who intersected and interfaced with your artistic journey. So this also, I believe, is for them. So well done.
Thank you.
Very good.